at the bio clinic. Meet you at the bio clinic. Clinic bio bees. Hello, my name is John Presco, and today is January 3rd. Sun's going down, and we're gonna build a pyramid. Does anybody remember Gene Scott on TV? You know, gonna build a pyramid. I actually saw him. My schizophrenic friend wanted to go down and see Gene Scott, so I took him down there on the airplane, and we went there. They had ushers with green suits and white gloves. And I took Jeffrey Harkins to get baptized at the church of Gary. Oh no, his name wasn't Gary. What was his name? Where I married Thomas Penshaw's ex-wife, Mary Ann Thorlson. And we went down to the ocean in an old station wagon. He used to preach on Hollywood Boulevard. He met Brian McLean. I think he knew Dylan. What's his name? So yeah, we're heading down from the Malibu. He was up at Topanga. We're heading down to Malibu to get 3 other people and Jeffrey baptized. And I look up, and there had been an earthquake, and there was an avalanche coming down. Here's this old Volkswagen, and you're all singing Jesus songs, So we had, the baptized Jeffrey, and here comes this avalanche, I thought, holy shit, So, we're gonna build a pyramid! He'd have these lectures on TV. I mean, sometimes that was the only thing on, late at night. He had this blackboard, and he was doing the prior to Zion. He was doing Holy Blood, Holy Grail that had just come out in 1987. He's doing the whole thing on it. He's got, the whole chalkboard going with dates and names and stuff, and the prior to Zion and bloodlines. He did all this. But when no one else gave a rat's ass. So, yeah, he would appear on the show, wearing different hats. And I think I'm going to bring back that, because I got some hats here. I got one in the garage that'll knock you on your ass. So, anyway, here I am, the king of the Bohemians, last of the Bohemians, who was busting the sharecroppers. Conspiracy against Kurt Vonnegut and the whole Jefferson Airplane, StarSHIP nation, that was trying to be built in, 1970, 1971. And Kurt Vonnegut was drafted. And in this interview, which I'll put a reference to, on my blog, Rosemont Press, so you can follow along, watch this video and follow along. You'll see one of the most incredible stories of literature of our age. The absolutely oppression, suppression, and censorship, and probably, if Charles J. Shields has destroyed his notes that he took when he interviewed Vonnegut for his novel, and so it goes. Well, he didn't want it to go anywhere. He's nipping this in the bud, with this. He's a locust from another planet, Shh, give you that marine cut, cutting down the wheat, in Utah, that the Mormons planted, and uh-oh, look, it's Jonathan Living Seagull coming to eat the locust, Pete. Bugs from outer space. See? This is what was going on. 70, 71. People loved the whole UFO thing. They loved the idea that they could get high and leave the planet. This is Vonnegut's famous book, the one that got all the attention. And it wasn't from the straight, press and straight writers and, you know, publishers. It was from the hippies, the counterculture people, read the Slaughterhouse-Five, and man, this guy knows. Read this book. You got to read this book. And everybody said, man, he knows, he's one of us. And they all went and bought his book, the same way they're buying albums of the Jefferson Starship. And Kurt Vonnegut also, you know, who was, you know, basically a hack writer. You know, he wrote some stuff for some men's magazines, you know, for Phil Kilgore Trout. All of a sudden, he's getting these big royalty checks. You know, he says, who the fuck's buying my book, you know? Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. See? And Shields obliterates that point. That Kurt Vonnegut actually makes in one of his interviews, which I'll put on Rosemont Press on, that you could read along. You know, follow the bouncing ball. The truth is that Charles J. Shields was trying to shield the children, you know, from the acid rock outer space nation. See? Not my children. You know, he's a school teacher. You know, this guy's got a savior complex, you know. You know, he's the one that's got the Catcher in the Rye, you know, thing that he's trying to put on Vonnegut, you know. You know, I'll save the children from going over the edge, you know. You know, I'll keep them from going down to the park and, you know, and getting marijuana and LSD and, you know, from the hippies, you know, they're down there, you know, dancing. You know, there's Lucia Joyce, you know, her ghost dance, you know, with them, you know. Lucy in the sky, you know, you go as Alice when she's 10 feet tall. The Baby Tree, written by Rosalie Sorrells. Did I do this? The Baby Tree, A Child is Coming. I mean, this won a big science fiction award. This Blows Against the Empire album. It actually won. Let's see, what's the name of that award? Anyway, but here you had all these people. You know, Jefferson started Quicksilver Messenger Service. You know, Crosby, Stills and Nash. Grateful Dead, Jerry Garcia. I mean, these are the people that were there, you know, during the first acid test, along with my friend Peter Shapiro of the Marbles. He was at the first acid test. He, you know, Neil Cassidy attached himself to this band and went home with them after the Longshoremen's concert. And, you know, Peter says he found a mattress, you know, on the floor, and he just non-stop rap. He just took speed and talked for a whole week. So he finally crashed and he finally went home. But, you know, this is, you know, Kerouac's, you know, On the Road, cranked down on a paper roll. And he did this whole thing in 1965 at Peter's house where he lived with his band. Let's see. Side 2 is an integrated suite of songs which opens with Sunrise. Grace Slick's allegory describing the breaking dawn the couple was awaiting. The couple, see. You know, Billy Pilgrim and Montana Wild Hack. See. In which the revolutionaries stormed the transport to the orbiting starship and head off into space. Boarding the ship by the end of Hijack and leaving orbit in Home. These are songs, Hijack, Home. As the story progresses with, have you seen the stars lately? Have you seen the stars lately? Well, geez, what does that mean? They're in a different galaxy. Let's see. Hopes and misgivings are revealed. After the ship's engine and systems are readied in XM, another song, Starship, XM Starship relates to a mutiny fought for control of the ship to determine whether to surrender and return or continue. Eventually, the idealists win control, and the ship is flung by gravity slingshot around the sun and out to the solar system. Wow. See? Comet Ison, come to Zion, that comet that appeared that was heading right to the sun, and they thought that it would come around and be flung past us again in an amazing light show. This comet would have been brighter, 5 times brighter than the moon. By Cantor's admission, the underlying premise of the narrative was derived in part from the works of science fiction author Robert A. Heinlein, particularly the novel Methuselah's Children. Cantor went so far as to write to Heinlein to obtain permission to use his ideas. Wow, there you go. That's why they met with Vonnegut. They saw a group of far-out science fiction writers that, was influencing their vision in basically what is a rock opera, space opera rock, and so they wrote Heinlein to get his permission, which he granted. Okay, there you go. Blows was the first rock album to ever be nominated for the Hugo Award in 1971 in the category of Best Dramatic Presentation. In voting, the album garnered the second most votes for the award, losing to No Award, which received the most votes. 1971. Now the mystery, is clear, isn't it? Maybe Kurt Vonnegut did say, no, I don't want to give you my permission. He was worried that, his gravy boat would be sunk. These people are already buying his novel, Who knows? And this is literary history here. It's very important now. It's even made more important by my revelations and my detective work, hasn't it, Mr. Shields? Wasn't there a TV series called Get Smart? And wasn't there a group of spooks called Shields? I have to look that up, won't I? So you are so busted, man. And it's funny, because I suggested yesterday that the biggest mistake Kurt Vonnegut ever made was not writing a book about the man who came to do his biography. That might be the book I should write with somebody, the man who came to write Kurt Vonnegut's biography, where I revealed these findings, or these, and say that there was a motive that Mr. Shields, had for unfriending me and disappearing all my input after he asked for it. He just didn't like what he was hearing because it was like from beyond the grave. It's like he, deliberately went to Vonnegut's house to pretend that he wants this information. See, pretend. Get in the door, and then he pretends that he cares about this history, and Kurt Vonnegut, bye, see you on Travaltador, which is the planet Billy Pilgrim goes to, and there's Charles Shishif, yeah, I'll see you on Travaltador, you sucker, and whoosh, he goes home and lights his fireplace, his gas fireplace, hits the switch, whoosh, whoosh, there goes the notes, for this whole science fiction concept, blows against the empire. Yeah, here's your blows against the empire. Sue me. Come on, you know. You can't sue me. This is too big, Mr. Shields. You know, the cat's out of the bag. The cat's cradle's out of the bag. This is truly, when you got rid of me and Amy Oles, and my ideas, you oppressed me because I came close. It was Vonnegut's meeting with the StarSHIP, and maybe other people were there. Huh? Maybe other famous rock stars were there. Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Huh? Maybe they were there. How about Jerry Garcia? And you took that meeting and you sat on it. I mean, you really, I was listening to you talk about this, see? And you really dismissed it. You really worked up this whole thing. And you could see you coming at it, see? As you're walking up back and forth on the stage, aiming for that moment, where Kurt Vonnegut turns his back against the counterculture that made him wealthy, that paid his bills, that were buying his books, and he knows they were. And he goes, oh, fuck you. Oh, no, he did not. Busted. Well, stay tuned, folks. This can only get better. Only get better. And more real.